pretty similar to yesterday. We'll be having a super awesome, very interesting intro to Git talk given by our own Colton Jacobson, our director of development here on our team. Following that, we'll have a little fireside, super informal, really relaxed Q&A session with myself and Jack Stork, who you see here as well, our director of our logistics team, where you can just ask any questions you have about the hackathon process. What it might look like on your end, what how we feel about it, what we think, some ideas or tips, anything like really any question that relates to a hackathon, we're here to answer for you. After that, we'll have just a fun, relaxed Scribblio session, which is this really fun game where one person has to draw something and everyone else has to guess. It's honestly a super fun time, for which we'll be hopping back into our Discord, which I believe everyone should have access to. But if not, I'll drop the link for that as well, where we'll also just simultaneously run some team matching and get people ready for the weekend. So, without further ado, Colton, take it away, my man.
All right, let's get this up and going. Okay. All right, hopefully everyone can see that. Beautiful. All right, hello everyone. My name is Colton Jacobson. I am the development team lead here at PreHacks, and I'm here to give you guys a little bit of an intro to Git and GitHub before the hackathon starts. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So a little bit about me. For those of you who are here already, you know this, but I am a junior in computer science at Missouri S&T. I'm the development lead. And a little fun fact, backstory, a little bit of backstory. The first version control system I used was Google Drive, which for anyone who's used Git or GitHub before, it's a little disgusting. But the reason, why do we use Git and GitHub? So my sophomore year of high school, I learned a lot about programming. You've already heard my story. If you were here, you heard my story last time. Another story about the same project. So again, I was working on an Android app for like an Android app competition type thing, FBLA. And me and my friends were trying to figure out how to store our code. We didn't know about Git or GitHub at the time, and we needed ways to store the code. Every time we made large changes, each version of the app that we made, we needed ways to store that. And our first idea was Google Drive. And so what we would do is we'd make some changes, and then every time we were done, we'd like save it as this new thing, upload it to Google Drive with like V1 or like app name V2, which is really messy and really inefficient when you're trying to figure out which version number you're on, and you're trying to see, oh, hey, like, is this the code you just changed? Did you change it in V1 or V2? Don't use Google Drive. Use Git and GitHub. So again, version control. Every time you make changes to your code, you want some way to store those. You want some way to document those changes. That's what GitHub allows you to do. It also gives you that's what Git allows you to do specifically. GitHub, which is the website that partners with Git, allows you to store all of your code online. The great thing about that, your computer ever crashes or something, you're going to have at least one saved version of that code online that you can access, that everyone else can access. And this online storage, this version control, this cloud storage allows you to work really efficiently in a team to make changes together and then have those changes all be decentralized, but also somewhat centralized for you all to access in a sense. And then finally, we have something a little more advanced for not quite so advanced for websites, but just a little more in-depth. If you want to deploy a website online, you can do some interesting things with Git pages. So the first thing to do when you are the first thing to do is install Git. So this is a Git website right here, and all you have to do is go to the download section of the Git website and then choose your operating system, download it, install it. It's a pretty simple process. You just go on the website, downloads, and install Git. I'm going to just click through like this. So the next thing you'll need to do is go to github.com and create an account and sign in. So we can go back here, go to github.com, and you'll need to create an account, sign in on GitHub. So once you have Git downloaded and you have a GitHub account created and you're signed into it, we can proceed with actually getting some code stored up and running now. So a repository is where all of your code is going to be stored. It's basically just like a folder on your computer, and it's where you put all your code in there, and it's what's linked to your GitHub account and used to like transfer code changes to and from your computer. Um, so the first step to create a repository is to create a new repository on GitHub itself. And do this, click this, so you can, once you've created your account, you can click here, click new, and give your repository a name. Just call this testing app. Give it a description. And then you choose if you want so public or private. Public means, yeah, anyone can see it. Someone could go online and search this. Private means it's only for your eyes. And then you can you have a couple different options here. So you can add a README file, which is just a little text file that explains what's going on with the repository, what's stored inside this folder. You can add a gitignore file, which I believe we'll get into in a second. And then, so we'll add one of those. And for now, let's see if we can just node. There we go. So we'll add a gitignore, we'll add a README file. And we don't need licenses or more for bigger projects, more in-depth projects. So we don't need a license right now. Do that, create the repository. And now my repository is up. So what I'm going to do is you go to the code button right here. You click and you go to the HTTPS link, and you're going to copy that right there. And then we can go straight over into our terminal, and we're just going to make a little folder for where we want to store our code. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Do that, and so we're going, since we don't need to make a directory since we'll be cloning into this, so we'll go git clone and paste that in. I'll make sure everyone can see that I'm cloning right here. Hit enter, and there we go. So now the testing app has been cloned to my computer. So now there is somewhat of a connection established between a folder on my computer, this testing app, and what's going on my GitHub page. So now that we've created a repository. Since you've created a repository, this would be around the time that you'd be creating your project. So I'm going to create a project just to show some of the features, or an npx. Set up a simple web app here, and we'll call it web app. So let that run. For anyone who's interested in doing web development, this process I'm doing right here, npx create React app with Node.js, is a really easy way to get a simple website running. And React is honestly a pretty solid option for creating dynamic websites. So I highly recommend that. But anyways, we're going to wait for this to get up and running. Meanwhile, so now once this finishes running, we're going to need to get the changes, because now I've just created a whole bunch of files. I need to get those changes up on GitHub. So first and foremost, what is a gitignore? A gitignore file is a file that tells GitHub which files you want to go up online and which files you don't want going online. Because some projects store things like passwords. A lot of web projects might statically store passwords or hashes of passwords at the very least, and you probably don't want those going up, depending on where they're being stored. And so that's where a gitignore comes in. So this is an auto-generated gitignore, specifically for Node.js, which is what I'm using. But as you can see, it's got some regex going on in here. It's got a couple different like file names, file types. And so this is just in particular, one to note is .env, so environment variables. These often are like passwords or things that are being stored for the website. And so this is telling GitHub not to pull those up onto the website, because you don't want people to be able to get online and see your passwords. So now We have, so if we look here inside testing app, we have our React app. All of this code has been created. And you can also see it in the file system. If that's easier, it's the same deal. So I've created my React app. There's obviously a bunch of changes here, and I want to make sure that they get up on the website. So the next step in this is going to be git add. So git add is where is telling GitHub, I want all these files to be ready to be prepared to push up onto the web. So I'll go git add, and with git add, you can do star, which will select all the files that have been changed, to push, or you can specify which files you want by doing git add, and then your just file name separated by a space. For this one, I'm going to be adding all of these, and that's giving me a few little warnings. That's okay. Don't need to worry about that. So now, time to commit. So committing is, so now that we have all these files added, they're, I think, quote unquote staged. We need to get this is where we're actually making an official change in our repository and saying this is a version. So git commit is where you're finalizing the version of all these changes. So when I go git commit, I will then provide, so the dash m means to add a message. This is where I'm describing what changes I've made. Created new React app, git commit m, and then whatever commit is. Okay. And we can see it's done. 18 files changed, perfect. Inserted a lot of lines. And now that's committed. So on our local repository, or on the machine itself, it already considers this to be a new version. And now to get that up onto the website, we just need to go git push. All right. And now that I've pushed my code, I am able to go to my testing app. And if I go back to here, there it is. So now all of the code has been pushed up to here. And if we wanted to, we can see, like 44 seconds ago, this was added. These two things were added 6 minutes ago. So we already see a little bit of a change log happening here as it's telling us when updates were happening. And if I click on commits here, I can see, so my initial commit was creating the repository, and now I created a new React app. And these have, so these are each versions. These versions are stored by GitHub. The changes are stored by GitHub. So if I wanted to, I can look at like what's happened in each of these commits. So this is my initial commit. I can see all of the code changes that have happened there. If I go back to my create React app, I can see all of the new things that were added. So that's one great thing that Git provides. It provides that sort of change log for everyone to look at. And it's pretty important if someone decides to push something a little crazier than what you might have wanted on your repository, and then you need to go back and undo those changes. So now onto the topic of branching. So GitHub originally starts you out with one branch. So a branch is just an area where you can commit code to. It's much like tree branches. You have one big trunk that starts out as your master branch, and then you can create other branches that can store different versions of code or different features that you want to make. So we can see here I have one branch. That's the main. But if I would like to make another branch, there's a couple different ways to do it. But the easiest will be git check. So we're going to use the command git. It's always git to start. We'll do git checkout -b and then the branch name. And we'll call this branch 1 because no originality. So now I've switched to a new branch. So what this means is if I go back to the website itself and I go reload this, maybe it hasn't. I'll need to get, so we'll follow this real quick, git push, so often the git thing will give you suggestions. Sometimes you just forget to put commands in. Once I've completed its suggestion, now it has moved me over. I'm totally moved over the branch, and it should have committed it to the website. I should be able to see it now. See, and there we go. Now we have, so default branch again, but now we have a new branch that I can be pushing code to, and it will not affect the main branch until I want it to. So again, so if I want to push some code now, say I want to go and just edit a file real quick. And maybe we want to change this to like a pretty simple change. If I git add commit and push, when I look up here, if I go to this specifically, there are like each different branches have different code on them. So the main branch, if I look at the code and I go to the web app, go here, again, this URL is still react.js because this is not on the main branch. If I go to branch 1, and again, we see one commit ahead. So there's been a commit made that I just made. Go to the source, and now I can see that I have changed this line right here. And so now GitHub's letting me know that, hey, something's different. Do you want to see what your changes are and possibly put all of this code into the main branch? And that's what we'll do. So again, and so to switch branches, you can do git checkout. And so with that, you git checkout, I can go back, much like I did get checkout.b. If I do git checkout with another branch, it'll just switch me to the other branch so I can work on a different feature if I would like to. So now we'll move on to pull requests. So GitHub's already telling me right now that, hey, code's been changed. Do you want to merge this into the master branch? And then at some point, everyone's going to want to put their individual features into one main app that runs everything correctly. So if what I can do is open a pull request, and that's the same as right here. You go to here, you can click this button. You can also just do new pull request and click the branch that you want to do. It'll show you the changes, right? Just a couple simple changes, and then we can create a pull request. A pull request is a formalized way of saying, hey, I changed something. I want whoever's on the repository to look at it, and we can compare. We can make sure everything's working correctly and push that to the main branch itself. And so I can see all my changes here. Leave a comment if I want to. Not really anything important there. And then we create a pull request. Yeah, so again, this is a formal way of making code changes without actually affecting one production or master branch of your code. And so we see here I have a pull request. It's telling me that everything's set to go. So when you have conflicts, for example, when two people are editing a file at the same time, they could possibly edit the same line. If I were to change this to Google, but one of my friends was to change this to Yahoo or something instead, there might be a conflict, or if there was, and it's other things as well. But if two people were trying to merge and there was differences in the code or in the same lines, then there's going to be conflicts. But since I am just making a simple change to the main, no conflicts, I can merge it straight away. And so if what you're going to want to do is squash and merge. So put all the code onto the main branch. Confirm. And so now all of the code changes on branch 1 have been sent to the main branch. And that means that I don't really need this branch anymore. Since I only created it to change the URL, I can just drop the branch if I would like. And then go back. If we go to the main branch here, check our app.js, the href is now changed. So at least one other interesting feature of GitHub is there's a couple. So again, with pull requests, I was able to just commit a pull request, but there are ways to protect your branches. So you can so in the branches category of the settings here on GitHub, I can set some rules to prevent people from just pushing code to any branch. So first you have to name your branch pattern. I want to name this after the branch I'm trying to protect, but then I can do require a pull request before merging and require approvals. So this just means that they have to they cannot just merge a branch into another branch. You cannot put branches together without creating a formal request. And then there's a lot of other interesting things in here that you can like look into, check if you're right. But the main one that you're going to want to do is require pull request, and that just protects your code. And then requiring approvals means that your other teammates on the project also have to say yes to your code before it can go live, and so that's pretty important. And then some things you probably don't necessarily want to do. Don't necessarily allow force pushes. This is just a lot of bulldozing over all of the formality you're creating with branch rules. We can create this branch rule though, and then merging. If I want to merge anything into main branch, I have to go through like an admin, or I have to go through someone higher up in order to do that. So these are great. This is a great tool to keep your code safe. A couple other interesting features about GitHub. You have Git Pages, and so GitHub Pages is an easy way to host singular web apps. We use GitHub Pages. So if I go to here, so our actual main site of the website right now, and this is all public. This is public code if you guys want to go take a look at it. But this is the main PreHacks PreHacks.io website, and it's being hosted through GitHub right now. So Git Pages, go back to here. If I go to settings, pages, and you can see here, this is where our site is published at. This is like, we can do a custom URL, enforce HTTPS, some other interesting things. And this is either done with a static site. So if you do just a simple HTML website, HTML, CSS like not even really a website, you can host it here. You can also use things like React to host this kind of thing, which is what we're using. But I believe so. And aside from that, a couple places to get more information about Git and GitHub. The Git website has documentation for all of the commands that you can use, including the ones I haven't covered today. And then GitHub also has documents. So we'll look at the Git. Let's see, where is it? I'm gonna get if you go to Git and documentation, the reference manual, all the different features of Git are here, and you can click on one if you want to learn like all the different ways to clone. Here is an easy, quick way to do that, and it's going to tell you everything about that particular command. And again, we have there's a lot of things you can do with Git and GitHub. I've just gone over the basics to getting your code up and running. So deleting a branch, so you can delete a branch right off on GitHub if you would like. I believe there is also, it should be the command. So just to answer the question in the chat, if you wanted to delete a branch, it should be git checkout -d and then your branch name. So branch ones are already deleted, but you would do git checkout -d, it's -d, and then branch one. I believe, yeah. Should be, and so then that should remove it. You can also do them from the website itself, which is probably honestly the easier way to do it. And then here, and so you also, so again, another link that I shared, and I can have these links shared in like the Discord as well. But this is a GitHub cheat sheet that has also some Git stuff in it, but it also it'll just tell you about some other things, some other simple things that you can do. So it's got some definitions here. Both of these are good references. This one's definitely more in depth. This is just a lightweight version of this, but either of those are good resources if you're going to be working with Git, which I recommend for all code projects. I 100% recommend using this because, again, this is when it comes to managing code, there's no one really does it better than Git and GitHub. Um, and like it's just all around the best way to do programming. You're going to use some version of this. If you work in any sort of software, hardware, um, any sort of software, hardware job that involves some version of code, you will work with a version control software. And so getting familiar with Git and GitHub is just a really great way to ensure that you're not only that you're like to make your life easier, but it also ensures that you'll be ready for the industry. Um, with that being said, I am about done with my presentation. Thank you all for coming out. And I believe we should have Jack and Barak coming in here soon to get us going on the Fireside chat. And any comments, questions, and comments, concerns, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll answer those in due time. Thank you.
Thanks, Colton. That was a great presentation. Again, I really wish I had learned this up from you originally because you just have a great way of teaching it, man. Make it seem really easy. So thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, awesome presentation, Colton. Really loved it. It's one of the only lectures I've ever had that didn't put me to sleep. So nice job. Yeah, no, that was fantastic. I really hope everyone got a quick intro on how to use Git. And of course, if you have any questions over the weekend, we're all here and we'll have mentors from some of the companies that sponsor us to be on hand to answer some questions too. But with that, let's kind of expand it to a bigger Q&A session, a little bit of fireside chat. You can see we got these lovely firesides beside us, behind us for me and Jack. But yeah, opening the floor up. Anyone who has any questions, we're more than happy to answer. Otherwise, we can talk about Morbius. You seen that movie Morbius, Jack? I heard it's pretty
I've
awful.
heard it's terrible, dude.
I heard it's awful, man. Kind of a flop of a Marvel / Sony movie, but who knows? Part of me wants to see it just to see how bad it actually is, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm curious. I'm like, how do you feel about Jared Leto?
I don't know. I feel like he was in some good movies, but all I've ever seen him in recently are just awful, awful roles. Like in Joker, as Joker in Suicide Squad, that was terrible. I don't know if anyone's seen that one, the original Suicide Squad, and then now Morbius, I guess, is pretty bad too. The only other movie I've seen him in is, I think, what's that movie with Christian Bale? American Psycho. I've seen that one. He was pretty good.
Oh, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I've seen him in, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like he's like a big name, but like I feel like he hasn't really done that much, or maybe like he hasn't done that much good stuff, for sure. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another movie he's been in, and I just really can't. I have no clue what else he's been in. I just heard his name before.
Mm-hmm.
How do we check in tomorrow? That's a really good question. So for us, check-in is essentially going to be you checking into Hopin. So similar to how we have Hopin set up for PreHacks, we're going to have another link that we'll send out for the main PickHacks Hopin, and that's really how you'll check in. But yeah, we have we have you registering through our Google form page, and with Hopin, we'll have that as a secondary form of you actually checking in. But that's a great question, Adam.
And then just to give you guys a heads up, so we'll just stick in here in this main stage for the fireside chat for probably 20, 30 minutes, depending on how many questions you guys have, stuff like that. And then we're going to shift over to the Discord to play some Scriblio, just get to know each other a little bit better, in a more casual place. So, yeah, that's coming right after this.
Nice. For anyone listening in, Jack went skiing for spring break. We got our spring break here at S&T last week, so he went skiing. So definitely jealous. I wish that was me, man. Skiing. I went skiing for the first time my whole life back in January, and I thought it was awesome. I thought I'd hate it, but I actually loved it. It was pretty awesome.
Where'd you guys go?
Me and my friends went to Keystone. We went to Keystone when we went.
Nice.
Yeah, so kind of like that Keystone. I think that's by like Copper and Breckenridge too, I think. But that whole area, we just chilled in Keystone for like 4 days. It was a ton of fun. I definitely fell a lot, like an embarrassingly high number of times. But it was a good time regardless. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, the day is long when it's like it starts to get hard to stand up at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's like you'd much rather just sit in the snow and take a nap there.
I thought, I had this like misconception that I'd be freezing the whole time, but you warm up a decent bit. You never realize it. You just
Oh, you get
warm up
hot,
like
dude.
crazy.
You start sweating. That's when it gets bad. You're
For
like
real.
stripping off because that's the worst part. If you strip off layers, then you just fall more,
Yeah,
and your
exactly.
clothes get all wet, and then
Yeah,
you're
and
and
yeah,
then you're
you get
cold
like
again.
snow all up in your shirt and your pants, and it melts, and then everything's just wet. It's an awful, awful time.
Makes me
Anyone
thank
else with
God every
some?
day I live in Missouri.
It's the only time. It's the only time we'll say that, right? Anyone else have any questions? I'm always open if someone wants to ask me how my day went. Went pretty good, but I can go into it if anyone wants to know.
Go. I want to know.
Well, woke up late. That's the benefit of going to college. I don't know how we would wake up at like 7 a.m. for high school. That still blows my mind.
No
Went to
idea.
class, did my homework in class, so that's pretty energy efficient in my opinion. Sat around, did nothing for another 2 hours. Then went to my other class, did more homework. Came home. I made spaghetti squash for the first time in my life. Never had before. Thought it'd be fun to try. It's actually pretty good, man. It doesn't taste anything like spaghetti, but it's really good. I gotta recommend it, man. It's really decent. Oh, see, we have a question. What was y'all's first experience with hackathons? Jack, you want to take that away first?
Yeah, sure. So, when I was back in high school, I went to Lindbergh, which is like kind of dead center of St. Louis County. So like the idea of S&T was always in my mind, and a lot of I didn't actually code or anything in high school. Like I didn't even take any CS classes, but one weekend I heard my friends talk, and they were just planning out what they were going to do next week, and they're like, "Hey, we're thinking about going to PreHacks," and I was like, I had no idea what it was. No clue. Um, I heard it was at S&T, which sounded pretty cool to me. Go to a school, any college, honestly, when you're in high school is like, it's like really foreign and like impressive, no matter where it is. But um, I didn't go, but they ended up going down there and just competing. They were juniors at the time, just make it a fun project for PreHacks 2020. Um, and so I just kind of heard about it there, and ever since it's kind of stuck with me, that idea of it being like kind of like a fun and magical experience, right? Like it's so disconnected from what you do normally in class. Class, homework, doing all that stuff. It's kind of, I mean, it's boring at times. Everybody knows that it's just homework, but you know, getting together to build something around like a fun theme and just everybody having a good time just kind of stuck with me, and it's kind of been by my side for the past couple of years, actually planning it. So come full circle.
Yeah.
What about
Wow.
you, Broad?
Beautiful story. That kind of brought me to tears, man. Oh my gosh, I'm crying over here. Not I didn't hear about pickaxe until my freshman year of college. I didn't even know what a hackathon was. Never even heard of the word up until then. But I joined the club here at S&T, ACM Hack, that runs pickaxe, just because I thought it'd be a really great way to make friends. Just learn what it is. Seemed like a cool thing for my resume, and it totally is. Um, and just the more I did it, the more I began to like actually love it, and it didn't just become like a chore or a club I have to do. Like it became a passion of mine to make sure we put on a really great event and be able to meet with people from across the country or even across the world who go to different schools who are equally passionate about technology, who are equally passionate about learning and growing and building. Those three core tenets of what we do here at Pickaxe. Um, and since my freshman year and the 3 years since, it's been a fantastic experience. I've gotten to make a lot of cool friends through PickHacks, and I've gotten to meet a lot of really interesting people and see a lot of cool projects being built. So I'm grateful for it every day. It's probably worth more to me than my actual college education, which is saying something.
Shout out to PreHacks.
Yeah, gives me purpose in life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be sitting around doing God knows what for 12 hours a day, skipping class and probably playing Valorant or something and just being terrible at it.
Yeah, okay. Thank God you're not doing that. Any other game, bro.
Speaking of other games, I heard you got Elden Ring, Jack. How's that working out for you? I've been thinking about getting that myself.
You know how like after you're done with school and you go to play a game, it's like, oh my God, this is my relaxed time.
Yeah?
Not anymore.
No?
Bro, I'm more stressed when I go to bed after playing Elden Ring for 2 hours than I am after taking a test.
I remember seeing some guy, he was in a live stream playing the game, and he was probably like a good 2 to 3 hours in, and he was just fighting this one boss, and I looked at, he had like a death counter going, and it was like 25 times he had died at the same boss. I don't know how you can put yourself through that, man.
Uh, I think you gotta buy it and find out.
I honestly, I kind of want to, man. Listen, it might be a challenge for everyone else, but I know myself. I know I come out on top. I can beat it first try. No
You
sweat.
got that dexterity.
I wouldn't even shake. I wouldn't even break a sweat. It'd be easy for me.
I Skywalker Saga came out too. You see that the new Lego
Yes,
game?
dude, I'm actually really excited about that one. I don't know about anyone else, but I don't know. Lego games have been like a childhood experience. I've played those since day one. I remember the hype around like when Lego Batman 2 came out and it was like, "Oh, this is the first one where they got real people, like people talk. They don't just grunt and stuff anymore." They come a long way. You think you're going to get it?
Probably. Maybe wait for it to go on sale a little bit.
Mm, yeah, maybe they'll go on that Steam spring sale, but
Yeah.
we'll
I think
see.
my friend actually got it today, so I'm gonna mooch off him. Just play some
Oh,
Xbox
that's
and
perfect.
stuff.
I heard that like the
Yeah.
traditional Lego co-op, you don't need to be sitting side by side. As long as one person has it, you can like do co-op with the other person like online. The other person doesn't even need to have it. So there you
Damn.
go. Now you can really mooch.
I'll just ask him to turn his console on. Oh yeah, so Barat, I'm curious. For the people that are going to be at the event, what piece of swag are you most excited for?
Ah, I think it's got to be the crew neck. I feel like when you go to a hackathon, the thing that you get to wear and like rep around always just looks kind of because you're kind of like a part. You're part of an exclusive club. Only a handful of
Yeah.
people in the whole world can say they went to PreHacks 2022, and you're gonna be able to rep that when you get the sick crew neck that we have this year. It's like all black, super slick font. It's got our sponsor on the back. It looks tough. What about you, Jack? What are you feeling for?
Exact same, man. That crew neck is sick. We had the zip. I like the zip up hoodies that we had last year. Like they were really comfy, but there's just something about wearing a crew neck around.
It just
Yeah.
looks. I love crew necks, man. You can wear it so much. Crew neck in a hoodie, crew neck in collared shirt, crew neck by itself. It's versatile. More than
Yo,
a
so
more than a.
what's the word on cutoffs for the crew neck this year?
Ooh, ooh, like cut off the sleeves.
Yes, sir.
I've never seen a crew neck that acts as a cutoff too. You got me thinking now. Wow, the possibilities. Hold up. Wear it to the gym. Your core stays warm, but your arms can cool off as your hidden bench. Oh
Damn.
my! Wow, Jackie. I think you might have just had the most valuable creation in all pickaxe right here, right now. Man, that really changed the game for physical wellness. Honestly,
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I'll take the Garmin watch.
yeah, I'll
Thanks,
get you that
thanks,
prize.
bro.
I'll ship that to your house right now, man. That was good. Dang.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember you cutting off your Linode. You had the regular T-shirt, right? Then you had the cut
Yeah,
off Linode shirt. That
yeah.
was
And
tough. I
honestly,
don't think I got
it's
to
one
see
of
you
my
actually wear it.
it's one of my favorite running shirts. So I tell you what, Jack, you come on and run with me, you get to see me wear it.
Ugh. I don't know about that. I don't know about running anymore, bro.
Dude, I mean, it's calling your name, man. I know it is.
Yeah, can you tell by? You can tell by my face there.
It's a stash. You have like the classic runner stash.
Yo, what happened to your stash, by the way? I see it's all
Dude.
coming in together right now.
Yeah, it's growing back a little bit. You might be able to see it, but I got gave myself a haircut. Thought I'd shave it off. Clean start. Coming in fresh, looking like
Yeah.
I'm a senior in high school or something. But it'll come back. Nobody fret. Hopefully, everyone should be able to see it for PreHacks 2023. If I'm there for that, so that'll definitely be an experience. Definitely the most worthwhile part. I promise you.
Yeah, you can definitely pop in just to show off the beard.
I think people need to see it. The people want to see it, right? I think the people want to see it.
Oh, definitely. Okay, so let me ask you. I have a couple questions written down. Maybe spark a little more hackathon conversation. Impart some of our vast knowledge onto some of these
Of
participants.
course.
Okay, so what do you think? As a hacker, is the most difficult part of the hackathon? What's the most challenging? What's the biggest thing you have to overcome during the event?
I think the biggest thing's got to be coming up with that first project. And I think this applies to a lot of things in life. Like, it's hard to know where to start, but once you start, that's when the ball starts rolling. And even if you're like stuck on your code, you can think of like, oh, go on Google and how do I blah blah blah. But it's hard to think of that first project and know what to stick with through the entire weekend. But that's why we have our fantastic team of board members and all those great mentors we have on hand to help answer that question. What about you, Jack? What do you
Yeah.
think's the most hard part?
Honestly, I think very similar to what you're saying. Honestly, it's just a big thing that I hear a lot nowadays is like a lot of people don't want to start things unless it's like a perfect scenario, right? Like for example, me, it's like if I'm reading, I want to have I gotta have my like a drink next to me. It's got to be like my window's got to be open. It's got to be nice outside. It's just like an odd example of you want everything to be perfect, right? And I feel like that's something you feel a lot when you're entering a hackathon. Like, oh my God, if I don't have this perfect idea, you're a little more hesitant about starting it. You're a little unsure of the steps you're going to take to actually reach a finished product if you don't know, if you don't see that timeline exactly laid out before you. Um, but you just got to kind of start it. You got to just take that leap of faith, just begin working. And a lot of the times the stuff will just, formulate in front of you. It'll
Yeah.
just materialize while you're working on it. You kind of get inspired by what you've done. It kind of gets your brain working a little bit. Stuff just kind of starts coming out. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, definitely just getting started. And I agree with you, getting that first project out there for sure.
And I think like what you were saying about people wanting to make a perfect project, part of what makes that so hard is that fear of like making mistakes and the
Yeah.
fear of not being able to do something right. People want to know that they can do something and then go through with it. But I don't think
Yeah.
that's what a hackathon's about, right? I mean, in our experience, we've seen
Yeah.
you don't have like it's all about just learning. So as long as you learn something new, that's a successful weekend in my book.
Yeah.
It's not about making a fantastic project that you can, turn into the next $1 million company. Although that is really nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. And don't forget about me if that happens. But yeah, it's all about learning and then being okay with making mistakes and being okay with asking questions of others. That was
I
a really good question.
definitely agree. Yeah, and I want to say BKSD at UM System, JKSD do at UM System. If you ever get a good deal after the hackathon, um,
Yeah.
don't forget where you came from. Is
Yeah. Don't
something
forget your
big
roots.
I've learned.
We can be your managers, your money men. We can do that for you. Don't worry. We humbly offer our services.
Yeah, we've got some manager. We have some experience planning things too.
Yeah. Running a successful organization. We're on top of that. Here we are. We're on top of that game.
And yeah, I mean, learning. Even just getting better at Microsoft Paint over the weekends. Is a good reason to come out. So
Good deal.
let's see. I got a couple more questions here.
Yeah, I think we can throw in one or two and then maybe head over to Scriblio.
I'm down for that. All right, so Barat, why do you enjoy planning hackathons?
Ooh. Well, listen. I just really like being super stressed all the time and just seeing my hair turn gray. Like it's my favorite part of my. No, I'm kidding. Although it is a little bit stressful, it's just so much fun to like plan something and put in all these months of work and then see it pay off, and then also just meeting all these fantastic, amazing people who aren't just like floating through school. Like they want to impact the community and go above and beyond and just do something that puts their talents to use. It's so amazing to meet all those people and it's so enriching to like gain their experience and see the way they perceive life. Honestly, it's just amazing meeting people and then being able to like do something and be able to say that I can look back and be like, wow, I really did something while I was in college that I'm proud of. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, yeah, and I just want to say, you're welcome for inspiring you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to name my first kid Jack. It's gonna be a big moment, I think.
Little Barat Stork's gonna be running around in the future too. I got you on that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, but honestly, I'll say the same. Those are two of my big things too. For me, a lot of the times, it just happened to be hackathons is what I ended up doing. Just an organization at the school, but just with anything, putting a lot of work into something and seeing it come to fruition is really satisfying. Um, it's like it's a good reassurance. Like, hey, the work that you put into this matters. It actually affected people, which feels great, and we're also proud of the work that we do here too. Like, it's not all about that, but it's cool to find that balance between being proud of your own work and then seeing it actually impact people. Seeing people come, engage with the event, enjoy it themselves, um, and also definitely the people. I mean, I've met some of the um, like Eddie. Eddie is our marketing lead on the team. For you guys that don't know him, but this guy is like one of the most driven people I've ever met, and it just kind of helps inspire you when you see others that are putting in this much work, and are going that hard, and that's a huge part of it as well.
Yeah, to anyone listening right now, I'd say one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you to like be involved in school is try and see if your school has a hackathon group, or if they don't, maybe start one. It's a lot of people will join a club or do a project just like for the resume and not have any care behind it. That's kind of how I started, honestly, with pickaxe. But then you just realize, like, with the community and with what you're doing, it's just a ton of fun, and it's just a really great experience to talk about. And it honestly, it sets you apart from like everyone, because I mean, everyone, their mom has a project on their resume, but how many people can say that they organized a successful hackathon for their school? And then you're able to talk to employers and people in the future about how much is involved in that process. That, oh, I talked to X number of vendors, X number of sponsors, we dealt with this much money. I had a team, I worked with a team of this number of people. Like, it's a huge thing that sets you apart from your peers very early on. So it's something I definitely look into if I could at your guys' schools.
Definitely. It really is like it's a great balance between like the technical side of it, like looking at the code, doing the stuff that typical employers like to see, and then like the people side, some of the softer skills. And what Barat was saying was very true. Like it's a green flag for employers to see something like that. So yeah. Plus, if you join a group, you can see Barat in the MLH group me. So build that personal relationship with some of the members on our team.
True. All right, it is about 6:20-ish. What are you thinking, Jack? Do you want to do another question, or you want to hop over for Scriblio? Because that's what I'm really looking forward to. Big
Yeah,
Scriblio.
let's do it.
Big Scriblio champion over here.
Yes, sir. I've been warming up a little bit earlier.
Ooh.
Drawing on some Microsoft Paint, doing some trees.
Yeah, for everyone here, if you want to hop in, right now I'm sitting in the Discord in the Games and Bonding 1 voice channel under PreHacks, the PreHacks section of that of the Discord. So that's where you can find me if anyone wants to play some Skrillio. I'm assuming Jack's gonna hop into at some point into one of these, and we'll run some. Y'all ain't ready too. Not to brag, I'm pretty good at guessing. Yeah, there's the Discord link. Thank you, Jack. There's the Discord link for anyone not in it yet. Once you get in, go ahead and react to the message in the welcome channel to get the PreHacks roll, and then you can see all the voice channels and everything to play Scriblio.
Bro, I do remember you being pretty good when we played back at Pickle Hack PreHacks.
I mean, what can I say, man? When I'm not in school, this is what I'm doing.
Yo, is there competitive Scriblio? Like, is there ranked?
Yeah, you're looking at the North American number 8 right now. So I'm working my way up.
Not top 5? That's kind of disappointing.
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, what's the key to a good Scriblio round for some of our listeners? What skills do you need to have?
I don't know if I'd want to reveal my industry secrets. I spent months cultivating this, but you know what? Okay, PreHacks exclusive. The key is to guess as much as possible. Just type whatever, man. And huge tip, actually, nobody does it. Well, very few people do this, but it's all about the length of the word. I feel like people don't take that into account sometimes. I feel like that gives it away for me sometimes. Think of the length of the word and what they could possibly be drawing, because that narrows it down so much more than you realize if you kind of think about it. But that's my personal strategy.
Very true. Plus, with Wordle, just channel the inner Wordle strategy nowadays.
Yes.
Everybody's thinking about 5-letter words now. Just think about 4-letter words now, or 6-letter.
Exactly.
However it is on Scriblio. But yeah, again, we're in the Discord for PreHacks in the PreHacks section, just in the first games of bonding chat. So pop in there if you guys want to play, because we're starting soon. Um, our board members are honestly just gonna play a game. So bro, today I don't have any classes on Thursday or like Tuesday, right? Or it's like I don't have to leave the house or anything. And bro, I just feel gross on those days. You know what I'm saying? Like when you
You
don't
feel like a
leave.
bum. I know what you mean, man. You feel
Yeah,
like a bum, kind of. You just wake up whenever. You just go around doing nothing all day. I get what you mean.
dude. It's like I woke up. I woke up at 1 or something. You know, and it's like
One.
then you lay in
Heck.
bed. Bro, I'm trying to get from my sleep for pickaxe.
No, honestly, that's smart. That's smart. That's honestly, I should be doing the same thing. But you know what? Maybe it's a good thing you didn't go outside today. There were like legit gale force winds here in Rolla, Missouri today. It was crazy how windy it was, just like yesterday. Maybe worse, honestly.
Damn,
I don't know, man. It was pretty cold too. A little nippy outside.
bro, we don't weigh enough to go outside and wind.
I know. I almost got blown away in the wind, man. It was insane. Just picked up and almost flew over the comp sci building. Crazy. Ah, but I'm not gonna lie. Part of me is jealous because I know when it gets warmer outside, I would love having no classes on some days. Because I mean, you get the whole day. You just go outside and relax and have a good time. Enjoy the sun.
That is kind of facts. That is kind of facts.
I'm jealous of that.
I went to Bear One the other day and just kind of hung out there on a nice day. That park is nice, man.
Dude, you got it. Me and my friends, what we'll do is we got hammocks from like Walmart, and then
Yeah.
in Lions Club Park, they got this section of trees that you can just like hang hammocks in from like tree to tree, and then chill with your friends. It's an awesome time, honestly. It's pretty
Dang, dude.
nice. Definitely a move when it's warm outside. In
Yeah.
the shade of the tree, it's amazing.
I feel like hammocking. Like I used to hammock a lot as a kid, and I kind of lost touch with my roots. You know, but it's like it's
Is that a
super
pun?
fun.
Is that a pun because of trees?
I would have had a great night not thinking about that, bro. You know that?
Sorry, man. It's kind of it's a blessing and a curse to catch these things. It's just what I have to. It's like what I have to. It's the burden I have to bear. You know.
Some people are just born that way, man. Nothing you can do about it.